Introduction: Why agency regulation matters in modern real estate practice. Throughout this course, we have explored the creation of agency relationships, fiduciary duties owed to clients, professional conduct rules under AAC R428, and the enforcement risks that arise when agents fail to comply with Arizona law. These principles all come together in the regulatory framework that governs real estate practice in Arizona. The Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, is responsible for protecting the public and ensuring that real estate professionals operate in a manner that promotes transparency, professionalism, and consumer protection. The regulatory authority granted to ADRE under Arizona Revised Statutes. Title 32, Chapter 20 allows the department to investigate complaints, audit brokerage records, and discipline licensees who violate statutory or administrative rules. In a dynamic market like the Phoenix metropolitan area, where thousands of transactions occur each month, effective regulation ensures that consumers can trust the professionals guiding them through complex real estate decisions. The November 2024 regulatory updates reinforce several areas of focus for the department, including broker supervision, record retention, and agency transparency. For real estate professionals, understanding how regulation works is essential not only for compliance, but also for building a successful and ethical real estate career. A. ADRE Enforcement Authority. The Arizona Department of Real Estate derives its authority from ARS, paragraph 32-2101 through paragraph 32-2199, which establish the licensing system and regulatory oversight of real estate professionals in the state. These statutes empower the real estate commissioner to administer licensing requirements, adopt administrative rules, and investigate alleged violations of real estate law. When a complaint is filed against a licensee, ADRE may conduct an investigation to determine whether the licensee violated statutes, administrative rules, or professional conduct standards. The investigation process may involve reviewing transaction files, examining advertising materials, interviewing parties involved in the transaction, and analyzing communications between agents and clients. If the commissioner determines that a violation occurred, disciplinary action may be imposed under ARS, paragraph 32-2153, which outlines grounds for denying, suspending, or revoking a real estate license. Enforcement authority allows ADRE to maintain professional standards within the industry while protecting consumers from unethical or incompetent practices. B. Administrative discipline versus civil liability. One important concept for real estate professionals to understand is the difference between administrative discipline and civil liability. Administrative discipline occurs when the Arizona Department of Real Estate takes action against a licensee for violating statutes or administrative rules. These disciplinary actions may include education requirements, fines, license suspension, or license revocation. Administrative discipline focuses on regulatory compliance rather than financial compensation. Civil liability, on the other hand, occurs when a party to a transaction files a lawsuit seeking financial damages. For example, if a buyer in Scottsdale believes that a listing agent failed to disclose a material defect in the property, the buyer may file a civil lawsuit alleging misrepresentation or breach of fiduciary duty. At the same time, the buyer may also file a complaint with ADRE requesting regulatory investigation. These two processes operate independently. A licensee could face regulatory discipline from ADRE while also defending a civil lawsuit filed by the injured party. Understanding this distinction helps agents recognize that regulatory compliance does not automatically eliminate the possibility of civil liability. See broker supervision requirements. Broker supervision is one of the most important regulatory responsibilities within Arizona real estate law. Under AAC R428-1103, designated brokers are required to establish policies, procedures, and systems that allow them to exercise reasonable supervision over the activities of licensees working under their licenses. This supervision includes monitoring transaction files, reviewing contracts and disclosures, and ensuring that agents comply with brokerage policies and legal requirements. In large brokerages operating throughout the Phoenix Valley, designated brokers may oversee hundreds of licensees. Because of this scale, brokers must implement structured compliance systems that allow them to monitor transactions effectively. Many brokerages use digital transaction management platforms that allow brokers or compliance staff to review contracts, disclosure forms, and communication records before a transaction closes. Effective supervision protects consumers and helps prevent regulatory violations. If ADRE determines that a broker failed to supervise agents adequately, the broker may face disciplinary action even if the broker was not personally involved in the transaction. D. Documentation and file retention standards. Proper documentation is one of the most effective risk management tools available to real estate professionals. Arizona law requires brokers to maintain transaction records for a minimum of 5 years under ARS, paragraph 32, 2151.01. These records may include listing agreements, purchase contracts, disclosure forms, inspection reports, correspondence, and other documents related to the transaction. Maintaining complete and organized records is essential because ADRI may request documentation during audits or investigations. For example, if a buyer in Tempe files a complaint alleging that disclosure documents were never provided, the brokerage must be able to demonstrate that the documents were delivered within the required time frame. Documentation serves as the primary evidence that an agent fulfilled their professional duties. In modern brokerage environments, many firms store transaction records electronically through transaction management platforms. Regardless of whether records are stored electronically or in physical files, they must remain accessible and complete for the required retention period. Consistent documentation practices not only support regulatory compliance, but also protect the brokerage in the event of disputes or investigations. Discussion questions. Why does the Arizona Department of Real Estate have authority to regulate real estate professionals? Answer: because Arizona statutes grant the department authority to license, investigate, and discipline real estate professionals in order to protect consumers. How does administrative discipline differ from civil liability in real estate transactions? Answer: administrative discipline involves regulatory action taken by ADRA, while civil liability involves lawsuits seeking financial damages. Why is broker supervision essential in large real estate brokerages? Answer: because brokers must monitor the activities of licensees to ensure compliance with state law and brokerage policies.